Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
And I'm very glad to see here this Congress. Now, tell me about your experience with Aquablation. What was the purpose that you choose this technique?
Well, you can't see it because I'm sitting down, but I'm a 2 meters 12, 7 foot Dutch professional basketball player. And actually, I'm on my 2 year anniversary of having my aquablation. So if I back up about 7 months from you had the aquablation, personally, I was having issues I've never had before. I was waking up and I was having some wetness, and it was very embarrassing and humiliating to me, and something I had hid from my wife. And I'm like, what is going on? And I was going to the bathroom, maybe 1 or 2 times a night, and it was 3 times, and it was like, and so I, it became enough of a concern. I saw my doctor. They sent me to a urologist. They scanned my bladder and said, wow, you are retaining a lot in your bladder. We need to put you on a medication. I didn't want to, I mean, as an athlete, I don't like taking anything. I like to fight and do the right things, eat healthy. And so I said, no, I won't take this now. They said, well, you can't wait too long. I said, I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to drink more water. And so I went off, and for several months, came back because they scheduled another appointment. And I was very proud. I was sure that I had made a major change. And so before my scan, I went to the bathroom and came back, and they scanned me again and said, it's gotten worse. And I'm like, and they're like, Jim, this is becoming almost an emergency. They said, we need to get you scheduled. You need to look at having some surgery. Here's your options, a TERP or the laser therapy. But at the same time, we have real concern that you're going to be damaging, or if you haven't already damaged your kidneys, because it's backing up. So we need you to start catheterizing, which was terrible for me. I felt like my legs got cut out from underneath me. Because I was a picture of health, and then all of a sudden, that quick, everything changed. So ultimately, fast forward a little bit, the surgeon said, listen, we need to come in, we need to do the surgery. We've got a new surgery that we can do for you called the laser surgery, because everybody's familiar with TERP. And he said, I'm going to get this scheduled as soon as we can. Are you okay with it? I said, yeah, yes, doctor.
So they gave you two options.
Really, two options. I wasn't aware of any other option. There were two options was what was presented to me. The thing the doctor did is, as I was getting dressed, he left and said, we'll schedule the surgery. And then he came back in like 3 minutes later and said, oh, you need to be aware of this. There's some side effects of these surgeries. And I was like, okay. And they said, well, incontinence can be an issue, or there can be erectile issues, and there could be yes. And I was like, what? And I was just low. I was just really low. I was, and so my background is, besides being in sports, I've been involved in the medical world with different things, and I've contacted some of my network and said, hey, and somebody had told me about the Aquablation, but where I lived in Michigan, it was not being offered. The urologist that I went to didn't offer. He offered what he did, okay? I became aware that there was a facility in Detroit, Michigan that was doing an aquablation. I called up that facility and said, listen, could somebody call me back? I really need to talk to somebody. And nobody called me back. And it was actually through my contacts with the NBA Retired Players Association, reaching out to the medical director, that they put me in touch with somebody in Chicago, because we had a relationship. And this doctor took care of me within literally, I had a surgery within 10 days of having that. He needed to see all the results of my tests. 1 week later, I had an aquablation. The next day after my aquablation, I drove all the way back to Michigan, a 3-hour drive, and then had to go to a presentation where I had to speak and receive an award And so all these terrible options and all this turmoil I'd been in for months, within 36 hours was all gone. And I'm two years now removed from that. I've had no issues or anything since then. And it's like the reality and the importance of, you know, what this is this is the new standard. And it's we as men, the word needs to get out from us as the patient side, because frankly, I didn't have an injury. This is part of the aging process that we're all going to face, and some of it may be sooner than others or whatever, but we can't avoid it. And if we aren't aware of it, and if we're not raising awareness to the whole thing, and realize there's options out there, and an option that doesn't give me all these really bad options, you know, and so that's pretty much my
How
story.
is your quality of life?
Like I was when I'm still playing, except my knees hurt an awful lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.